So this is my 5 years on the Primal diet video. Been on the Primal diet 5 years and like 1.5 months at this point. And starting out, and I've told this story basically before on Emily's Rude Awakening and Joey Schwartz podcasts on their YouTube channels. If you want to check them out, also a lot of other stuff too. Anyway, started out with eggs and liver and honey. Liver was the first raw meat I was eating, and I really ended up kind of liking it a lot for a while. And I ate maybe 5 to 7 pounds of liver a week, and I was eating 1 to 3 pounds of high liver a month for 3 years, basically. And then, after about a week of a lot of liver, I started to just get more steaks and ground beef. And eventually, that kind of got expensive and boring, and so I switched to pork. And then eventually, I would look on Craigslist for things, and I found some chickens. And then I also found dairy through Craigslist, but I didn't get dairy until year 3. I was juicing infrequently, vegetable juice infrequently. Starting out, it was mostly something I did in the summers, and it was from a lot of the own produce I grew. So it was a lot of like cucumber and tomato juice. I didn't really buy too much celery. I did a little bit, but not too much. And it was mostly, like I said, in the summers, because I'd have a garden. So like I'd grow a lot of my own tomatoes, cucumbers, and other herbs and things, and just for fun, and flowers. So it was just kind of nice to have. I'd also juice like turnip and radish greens, and that was a good source of green juice, because you don't get too much out of them, but at the end of the day, they're really concentrated, and you can harvest the greens and they grow back as long as you keep the bulbs in the soil. So that's pretty nice about them. And like I said, I did that. I didn't get serious about juicing until probably year 3. And the same with the hot baths too. I wasn't doing hot baths when I started out. I didn't start doing that till about year 3, obviously, because I didn't have any dairy. End of year 3, because I didn't have any dairy until then, so I didn't have anything to clean the water. And, it was starting out, it was pretty good. I would get a lot of runny noses, like for 2 or 3 days, just the worst runny noses. Headaches, a lot of diarrhea, especially when I started raw dairy. And a lot of people will start on raw dairy, they'll have diarrhea and they'll get discouraged, but if you just keep it up, it goes away in like 2 weeks, usually. I mean, you'll probably still get diarrhea infrequently after that, especially if you are consuming it, if it's fermented a little bit. Not a bad thing, but it just kind of comes with the territory, but it will eventually, stop. So, I did those things, and I was feeling pretty good, and I was not really able to gain weight. However, after about eating like a lot of liver all the time and high liver, I was able to gain weight after a detox. I had a really bad detox. I got tinnitus from a work accident a few months prior. So that was stressful and kind of scary. I just woke up and I threw up. I would throw up in the mornings. I was delirious. I was hot. I was cold, but I never had a temperature. I had headaches. I had a sore throat. I had general body aches and malaise. And it was that we went on for like 1-2 weeks, and it was terrible. And then I really started to try to gain more weight, because I never really had a detox like that yet. So, it really worked out, because my liver apparently was healed a little bit, because I was digesting fat a lot better. Because I used to have a lot of orange poop and it would float sometimes, but I don't really get that anymore too much. So, that's a good thing. And I also stopped craving liver. So, around this time, I stopped eating liver pretty much. I haven't had liver in months. And I might get a little bit if it's at the butcher, but I don't order it and request it anymore. So, because I would rather eat fish. That was the last meat I tried. It was my favorite. Chicken was really good, and then like having the fish was like amazing. And eating the chicken and the fish is what a combination, let me tell you what. And really, really like that. So, I started experimenting more with recipes, because like, I'm a pretty simple guy, kind of, boring. And like, I would just eat meat, I would blend my liver up with some eggs and honey and then dairy when I eventually got it. But, I would just, I wasn't pateing my meat. I wasn't making sauces. I didn't really have any butter. So I was always eating a lot of eggs with my meat. But eventually I found a good butter place, and I'd eat butter with my meat and bone marrow. I was eating, a lot of bone marrow with my meat at the time. And yeah, so that was really nice. If you're starting out on the diet, it's going to be kind of hard at first. Your first detox will probably be your worst. But after that, if you gain weight and you learn how to deal with things, like with hot baths, you can take like 4 tablespoons of lime juice with equal parts honey and drink it with some good water in a hot bath or not. And that will help kind of, help you along with your detox. Eating the cheese is important, especially if you have stuff going on in your stomach. And what else? Hot water bottles can be effective if you want to like sweat in a sleeping bag. If you don't have a hot bath, that's important. If it's winter and you can't go get sweaty somewhere outside, getting the sun is important, and staying active is important. Even if you're just walking, try to do something. But yeah, gaining the weight for me was a game changer because I've never been able to gain weight in my life. Like when I say gain weight, I mean like, I weighed 118 pounds, 112 pounds, something like that, crazy when I was in college. Because I was poor, I wasn't eating a lot. And then when I started the diet, I was around like 140, and then I got to like 154. But that was mostly just muscle. I wasn't putting on a lot of fat. So, because I was so active all the time and I was working out, 4 or 6 days a week, anywhere from like 1 to 4 hours a day. So, I had that going on for me. And, once I gained the weight and I've been on the diet, that need for activity has gone away. I don't have that compulsion to work out like I used to. In some ways, it's a little harder for me to work out now. Like when I do push-ups, it's a lot heavier because I have, 45 more pounds on me. I'm 188, 187 pounds. So, it's great. I mean, I feel a lot better. I had insomnia really bad when I went through that detox as well. And I had it for 8 months. I have a video on how to deal with that if you want to look at that. And I'm still catching up from sleep, honestly. I try to nap more. I have a hard time sleeping in the baths. I don't know if I'll be able to do that because my bathtub isn't comfortable. Maybe if I had a hot tub or a bigger bathtub, maybe someday. But, I take a bath about once a week or twice a month. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been on the Primal diet 5 years. It's definitely working. I need to do some more iris pictures. I kind of feel like I see flashes of green in the outsides of my eyes now, which is pretty cool because I think green eyes are cool. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any other questions, I don't want to start rambling, but if you have any other questions about my experience or anything in particular, let me know in the comments and I'll answer them. Thanks.